Hello, everyone. My name is Jared Bailey, and this will be my toolkit screencast for ENT 630 on inventory management. So, what is inventory management? Inventory management, the management of inventory and stock, as an element of supply chain management. Inventory management includes aspects such as controlling and overseeing ordering inventory, storage of inventory, and controlling the amount of product for sale. Um, as, as I mentioned in my previous screencast, I am a logistics manager in a warehouse, and this is a process that we conduct every day, from receiving items from our vendors, storing them or process them in the warehouse, um, and then later on shipping those items to stores. So this whole process, the keeping track of our inventory is very key and essential. Not only just for us, but also for the stores that we service and our customers that we service every day. If you look at the diagram here, you have first your raw materials, or and like I said in my case, vendor sent products to our warehouse. This is the very starting point of the whole process. They are received in to the warehouse, and then you start the production phase, which is right here, and that can be actual making and manufacturing of a product, or like I said in my case, the processing, storage, and um, sending of a product. Next, you have the quality check. Maybe it's be a final check of the product, or the supplies that you have, or the inventory or the raw materials that you've used, and seeing what you have on hand. And this whole big cycle, again, all goes down in the warehouse. You have your finished cases here, the finished products, and then you have your shipping aspect of each product. So again, this diagram is a pretty good depiction. I like to show you guys a visual of how things flow, and so far as for inventory management. And I'll go into break down each of these components just in a little bit of detail, based off my experience and some of the research that I've done. So raw material, basic materials from which a product is made. As you see here in the picture, there's some fabric, can be utilized for creating clothes, some kind of like fabric. I mean, like your bed sheets, all kinds of different things. But when you think of base materials, I mean the very bare minimum things of creating something. The I like to use the analogy of the ingredients to make a cake. So this cloth is like your eggs, your flour, your sugar, the very minimum materials before you put it all together separate. This is what this raw material is. Um, so when looking and picking these raw materials, you need to find a supplier of the materials. And some things to always, of course, to compare is, of course, price of the material, and also the quality of material. So it all depending on what are you trying to do, and what do you want your products to represent of you. If you want, something, you want to create something that is not necessarily something that's going to be durable or anything like that, you can get away with using some of the cheaper fabrics, the lower end fabrics. But if you're going to be upscale, you need to make sure that your material reflects that, in order to carry out that brand. So yeah, that's always something you need to be comparing when picking raw materials, and also keeping track of your materials. So whether you store them in a warehouse, back room, wherever it may be, you need to have some type of log of the items that you have on hand, that you order. and you need to understand when to reorder these things. So one thing you don't want to do is have an order come through and you run out of these raw materials, running out of supply, and that you're not unable to even start the process of creating these products. So, and later on, I'll give a few things that could help you out with those. Some things that I found that could help with logging and stuff. And again, make sure that you are finding the correct balance. So you got to know what part in your, what where you stand in your market, what demand um, that your customers are asking, and also forecast the potential of growth. Um, you don't want to you want to see that you want to be able to see your growth, and also be prepared for your growth. Never want to be able to you never want to turn anyone down for gaining a piece of your product, or making a connection with someone and just say, hey, I can't do it because I don't have the right material, or I don't have enough material. So make sure that you anticipate your growth of your business whenever you have your inventory, your raw materials ordered. Next is the warehousing, production, and quality assurance portion. So warehousing, that's basically where you store these materials. Again, it could be in a large scale warehouse like you see in the picture, which I'm used to, is in a very large warehouse, or it could be a simple shed, back room, studio, just wherever you keep your essential products in order to essential raw materials to create your products. And like I said, where in the warehouse, a lot goes on within the warehouse in the warehousing part. This would be, like I said, where you store your items, you create your items, and also the base point of where you ship your items out. So the production is forming and building raw materials into a finished product. And again, it's like baking a cake. So you throw this piece, this material with this material, and eventually, at the end of your process, you've created a finished product. Um, and the quality assurance is assessing finished products and accounting for the use of these materials. So a process that every entrepreneur should keep in place is this quality assurance piece. Um, you want to be able to account for the stuff that you're using, because you could be losing a lot of money, and of course, as an entrepreneur, your livelihood a lot of times depends on the money that you put out. A lot of times, you're putting out your own money and looking to receive that back. So you need to be able to track exactly what are you using, how much of your product you're using, and also assess any waste that you created. So maybe something is damaged, maybe something is not usable, any scraps and stuff like that. Maybe look to probably recycle some things, or use it for a later project, or in a different aspect. Just always be aware of the materials that you're using, and make sure that they're going towards your products or towards your cause. And the last option, the last aspect of it that we'll be covering is the shipping out aspect. Um, as an entrepreneur, this is something that is seen as one of the hardest things to judge, or hardest things to master. It all depends on what industry that you are in, and what exactly that you're shipping out. Um, of course, everyone is familiar with UPS, FedEx, the Postal Service, um, and these are pretty much staple shipping options out there for companies to use. But depending on the value of the products that you're sending out, maybe you're a small jewelry maker, and you have a customer that's out in California, your shipping cost is going to cost more than the item that you're sending out a lot of the time. So you end up losing money trying to ship out products. So there are different venues or different things out there to help us as entrepreneurs. Different different types of companies that I looked at. There's the WooCommerce that I see here, that you see listed here, OpenCart, and OS Commerce. And I've on the next page I have references, their links, giving a little bit of insight on some of these companies, and there are others out there as well. Just always be on the lookout, compare prices, what would best suit you and your industry or your business. Like I said, you never want to be in a position where it costs you more to get your product to a customer than it is for you to make it. Because in long term, you end up losing money, and it won't be worth it. Um, and here are a few links again that I mentioned for these other companies. I hope this screencast was helpful and informational for you all. And thank you for your time.